In today's video, I want to share some basic information with you about Changa, what it is, where it comes from, why I find it is so interesting, and also I want to share my experience with a currently legal version of Changa that I will have later today. And also, if you wanna know my funniest Changa story, then please stay till the end. And yes, you heard that right. There is a legal version of Changa right now, at least in many European countries. But I have to disappoint my German followers, which are probably 99% of the people that follow this channel. In Germany, the legal version of Changa will only be legal for a couple of days more. I think next week it will be illegal.
Yeah, what's the Changa, man?
John's got a little bit of Changa.
I can't talk about that. Ooh, motherfucker. What is that, Changa?
Changa. Everybody loves the spicy, flowery, aromatic smell of Changa, no? At least I really like the smell of Changa. To me it smells like a special plant from the rainforest that is used as an incense or something. But I've heard also many other opinions. Some people describe the smell more like burning rubber or burning car tires or the breath of their grandpa or even the smell of death.
Wait, you're smoking DMT
Are
right
you
now?
trolling? No, I swear.
That's DMT.
Yeah. You smell it?
No, get that fucking shit away from me.
But Changa, of course, has way more to offer than its special smell, and that's what we are going to talk about today. A warm welcome to all the new viewers on this channel here. My name is Max and I share here on Hyperraum and Psychedelische Reise my personal journey with psychedelics and the exploration of my own consciousness. And I hope I can inspire you guys through videos like this and self-experiments with different psychedelics to also find a responsible and meaningful way with those very powerful substances. If you also see the importance of psychedelic education and you like this video, I would very much appreciate if you think of supporting this project via monthly donations on Patreon. The link is in the video description, and also a little shout out to today's sponsor, which is CC. If you want to know what CC is, you can also check the links in the video description. And now enjoy the video. So let's get into it. What is Changa? Changa, that kind of sounds like an ancient rainforest medicine, right? Kind of like Sananga, Cambo, San Pedro, Ayahuasca, Changa. But actually, Changa is not ancient at all. It is a very modern technology, a modern preparation that was invented around 20 years ago in the beginning of the 2000s by an Australian called Julian Palmer. Changa is a herbal blend that contains two main active compounds, the classic NN-DMT and a MAO inhibitor. The traditional Changa blend is usually made with the Banisteriopsis carpi vine, known as the ayahuasca vine. So Changa essentially contains the same psychoactive substances that are also responsible for the effects of ayahuasca. Some even call it smokable ayahuasca because of that. The MAO inhibitor comes from the carpi vine, and the carpi leaves also function as a carrier herb for the DMT. Nowadays, Changa often contains MAO inhibitors from different sources than carpi, for example, Syrian rue. The DMT in Changa most often comes from the extraction of different DMT-containing plants, like different type of acacia trees, which are found in Australia, or the Mimosa hostilis tree, which is most often found in Mexico. What people today call Changa can be made up of a very wide variety of different herbs. Typical ones are, for example, peppermint, blue lotus, passionflower, damiana, mullein, and many more. The mixture of herbs is infused with the extracted DMT and the MAO inhibitors in different ratios depending on the preferences of the person making the Changa. So it's important to know that every Changa blend can be very different in its appearance, potency, and quality of effects. For me, one of the biggest advantages of Changa is the easier use compared to pure DMT crystal. The herbal mixture can be easily rolled into a joint, sprinkled into a pipe or a bong, and is basically just way easier to handle than a crystalline substance that has to be dosed in the milligram range. This advantage has a certain practicality for a wide variety of settings and use cases. Can be very beautiful to sit in a circle, pass around a Changa joint and have a little Changa ritual. But what about the name? Is it called Changa or Changa, and where does the name even come from? In Germany, we call it Changa.
There's no correct pronunciation.
Well,
you say tomato, I say tomato, right?
But Julian, don't you have an entire article on your website?
I'm clear about it.
This was the inventor of Changa, Julian Palmer, in a very recent interview, which I can recommend. Link is in the video description. He states that the name came to him during an ayahuasca ceremony. Now, traditional Changa with classic NN-DMT is illegal in most countries, including Germany, because of DMT itself, which is a controlled substance. But, and this is important for this video, there is currently a legal version available in many European countries. This legal Changa is made with something called NB-DMT, also known as NB-DMT. NB-DMT is a modified derivative of DMT with a protective chemical group attached to it. When you heat it by smoking or vaping, this protective group breaks off and you're left with active DMT. It's essentially a prodrug that converts to DMT when heated. The reason it's currently legal is simple. It's not explicitly listed in drug laws yet. In Germany, it will be in a couple of days. However, it is very crucial to note that NB-DMT is not really scientifically looked at all. So we don't know much about it. We don't know if it's any more or less dangerous than classic DMT. We can assume that the same psychological risks exist with this legal version of Changa that exist also with DMT and the normal version of Changa. But we don't know if it's any more dangerous for the body. In my last video from last year about NB-DMT, I talked to a toxicologist about it, and yeah, he gave a little insight what he thinks about the risks. So check that out if you're interested. But for me, it's very important to say at this point that I don't recommend to anyone to try out this very new and not studied psychedelic research chemical. So for me personally, Changa is a very interesting phenomena because it is so new. It was invented just a couple of decades ago, and still it already has this culture that developed around it. People are using it in like ceremonies, circles, and it's also already a part of psytrance culture. At many festivals around the planet, Changa is being offered to you. Many people in the psychedelic scene, they know Changa, it's a thing. And I find it interesting to just witness that there's this new invention, herbal mixture, shamanic preparation coming out there, and we are now in the process here in the psychedelic scene of creating and developing this culture around it. But now let's talk a little bit about the Changa experience.
Your body goes here, your soul goes there. Like, fuck.
Really?
20 minutes, you're gonna get 10,000 years of experience in 20 fucking minutes.
What actually makes Changa different to like normal DMT crystals and just smoking DMT? Basically, the DMT experience is way shorter. If you just smoke pure DMT, it's going to be 5 to 10 minutes long. If you smoke Changa with an MAO inhibitor in it, the experience lasts longer, maybe for about 15 to 30 minutes. And people also describe it as being like a deeper experience, a bit slower. And that's also what I experienced with Changa before, that it comes on a bit. Of course, when I smoke it, it still comes on very fast, like also DMT crystals, but the experience unfolds a little bit slower, and I have more time to really just feel into it. It's kind of a bit more gentle and grounded, even though it can also be not gentle at all, because, and that's now talking about the characteristics of this experience. If you've heard about DMT and the effects of DMT, obviously DMT is one of the most profound experiences a human being can make on this planet. People describe like entering different dimensions, talking to aliens, to entities, leaving their body, and having near-death experiences. So DMT is very intense, very profound. At least if you have the right dosage. It can also be way more subtle if you dose it like a micro to mini dose. But if you have a proper trip dose of DMT, it's going to take off your shoes. It's going to hit you so strongly that many people describe that their whole reality kind of gets dissolved. Also, their whole perspective on this life, on this world, is shaken by it. And all these things we describe about the DMT experiences are also true about Changa, I would say. Usually the experience starts with very intense body high, a body load, a feeling that is strong, energetic through your whole body, and then it's also very visionary, very visual. You have strong fractal visions that you see with open and also with closed eyes. But let's not talk about the effects of Changa too much in theory right now, because I'm about to go outside into the sun, smoke the legal version of Changa. Let's see if it even works, and then I'm gonna talk right into the camera how I feel, how it felt, and that's going to be way more interesting, I think. I've smoked Changa and DMT many times in my life before in different dosages, but one thing that never ever stops happening to me is that I get very excited before, and that I'm like also have a little bit of anxiety, and I'm like, okay, this is going to be very intense and very strong, and then I'm often thinking, am I ready for this today? And I'm like, I don't know if I'm ready, I don't know. But then I just have to jump over the cliff and do it, and in most cases I'm very happy that I did it. Okay, I am going now to the Changa smoking spot, and I love to smoke Changa out in nature. I mean, it can be nice in very different settings, but for me, being outside and hearing birds, insects, seeing plants all around me, it's just a very beautiful setting. And I think this here might be the perfect spot. I think there's no people coming here. The ground looks soft, so I can lay down, which is also sometimes, depending on the dose, I sit upright and just look into nature, and sometimes if the dose is strong enough, I just lay on my back and close my eyes. Let's see. Still talking a lot to work with my excitement. Okay, so this is how the legal Changa looks like. Basically, this could also be normal Changa, can look like this. But what I already tested before, and which I find really interesting, is that usually Changa already has this very distinct smell of DMT. And this doesn't smell like DMT at all. And that's also what I noticed with the NB-DMT. As long as there's this NB with the DMT, it doesn't have the DMT smell. But as soon as you heat it, it becomes DMT, and then it smells like DMT. So it's Changa right now without the DMT smell. It basically smells like peppermint. Always. When I start to prepare any kind of pipe, the wind gets stronger. Obviously, when it comes to such strong psychedelic compounds, it's very important to also talk about the risks and safety. Please note that I am not advocating the use of Changa or psychedelics or any psychoactive substances. I would strongly discourage anyone trying this at home. I'm a professional psychonaut, and I'm just doing this here for the science and for you to see it, that you don't have to do it. But if anyone considers doing it, you should know that Changa and DMT and ayahuasca, basically any preparation of DMT, can profoundly influence your whole life. It can bring up traumas, it can bring up strong emotions like fear, anxiety, and stress if you're not prepared for it, and it can be very difficult to integrate those experiences if you don't take the time for a very cautious and responsible preparation to know what you're actually doing, to know what substances you are actually using. Like I said, Changa can be very, very different, and so it's super important to know what kind of Changa you have and to trust the source you have for this. Also, DMT is such a strong onset, such a strong experience that can shoot you out of your body. It is very important to do it in a super safe setting and with a trip sitter that watches out for you, that you don't do any stupid things, because if you're out there somewhere flying through the universe and your body is kind of doing things in this dimension here, it can get dangerous. Also, with the MAO inhibitor, it's important to know that it's not such a good idea to combine it with different substances. For example, smoking Changa on MDMA, stimulants, or opioids is maybe not such a good idea because it can have dangerous interactions with the MAO inhibitor. Please read about those interactions and inform yourself, and I would strongly advise to never combine Changa with substances that can be dangerous with MAO inhibitors. Of course, some psychonauts would go on a journey where they combine Changa with, let's say, LSD, psilocybin mushrooms, or other psychedelics. This is kind of like a more safe combination because those psychedelics don't really have dangerous interactions with the MAO inhibitors, but still the experience will be greatly intensified. So be very, very careful when it comes to any combinations with Changa. But from the practical perspective of Changa, I can also say that combinations can be very profound and interesting. Doing Changa on LSD or mushrooms has been for me like very, very beautiful, but that's only my personal experience.
So I just smoked the Changa and it was there very soft on the DMT side of things. At first I thought it didn't work at all. Then I took another toke and then it worked definitely. And kind of did like a little Changa session right now where filled the pipe 2 times and took several tokes and just took my time. Yeah, as I said, it was soft on the DMT side of things, but still a very beautiful experience. I really haven't had Changa in a long while, and to me the whole experience, like the moments before the smoking, the experience, and then the moments after, just right now, it's like this inner process of self-reflection to see myself in this kind of excited moment before and try to just count down through breath and my own way of techniques and way of doing it, and then smoking it the very moment when it hits. And then even though the effects were not so strong this time, I would call it a low to medium dose Changa I had now, way very far away from a breakthrough experience. And I was just laying there, and there was this deep sense of relaxation going through my body. and just it's so hard to describe, interconnectedness with life itself. It just feels so natural to me, the DMT experience. In those, at least in those low to medium doses, in higher doses, it's certainly very crazy and alien. But still, it always has for me this dimension of like, yeah, it's something natural and something that connects us with nature. Anyway, this whole process was just very beautiful to me right now, and sitting here in this location, my thoughts after the main effects slowed down. My thoughts are just very, very calm and very slow. And even though I don't have any visuals from the DMT anymore, it gifted me this moment here right now of like just a different perspective on my life, on things. Yeah, trying to describe, it's hard. But it's very beautiful. Smoking Changa in nature. I would never recommend to anyone. You know, sometimes daily life is so fast and you kind of forget, or at least I, like in the pace of things and to-dos and work and family and life, sometimes to just see the simple beauty of existence and that we are even here, and to be thankful for that and feel that we are all a part of this interconnected miracle here. That is such a gift to truly feel that in your deepest core, and a DMT or Changa experience really can give me that sense. And that's also so practical about it because it's a fairly short experience, and I can just, open up this thankfulness and this aliveness, and it's not such a big journey like ayahuasca or a mushroom trip or whatever, where you really have to take a whole day to do that, and even more than a whole day. And this year, it, like they said, that's why I think they call it the businessman's trip.
I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please subscribe, like and leave a comment. I am very curious how your experiences with Changa are, so please share them. And also if you had an experience with the legal version of it already, that's also very interesting right now. Share it please. And now that you stayed till the end, I want to share the funniest Changa story I experienced in my life. It was 20-year-old me traveling, hitchhiking through Australia, doing like street art performances in Melbourne on the street to make some money. So one day I was with a friend at the traffic lights, and we did our usual juggling performance there at the traffic lights to earn us some money. And sometimes it happened that people, like, we did our performance and then we walked around between the cars with our hat to collect money. And it happened before that somebody just put a little baggie in there with some weed, which is a nice gift to get when you're doing street art. But that one day we are doing our performance, walking around, and then somebody puts a baggie in my head, and I'm walking back to the sidewalk to look what it is, look at this baggie. And in the beginning I thought, oh yeah, somebody gave me weed again, nice. And then I look and it's like, okay, what the fuck, it looks different, and I smell it and I'm like immediately, wow, this is Changa. And I still see the car just driving and the people looking out the window and like giving me a very nice smile and waving, and I'm like, yeah, thank you. And it was just so funny to get Changa when you're doing street art. And that day I went with my friend into the park in Melbourne. We tried the Changa and had a very, very beautiful experience. My friend played didgeridoo while on Changa, and I just sat there with this beautiful, yeah, I don't know how to describe it, but the frequencies and the sounds you hear from a didgeridoo, very recommended on Changa. Also, another recommendation, any kind of experimentation and experience with sound on Changa is amazing.